overnight, while others barely move an inch. That's not luck. That's elasticity. It's the hidden force shaping how much you pay, how much you earn, and how much power you have as a consumer. And here's the twist. If you understand it, you can actually use it to your advantage. Because elasticity isn't just for economists. It's for anyone who wants to spend smarter, save better, and read the market like a pro. Let's see how it really works in real life. Section 1. Understanding elasticity. Let's start simple. Elasticity basically tells us how much people change what they buy when prices change. If the price of something goes up and people stop buying it, that means demand is elastic. If the price go up but people keep buying it anyway, it's inelastic. Pretty straightforward, right? But there are a few different kinds, and each one tells a different story about how we behave as consumers. Number 1. Elastic demand. This is when people react strongly to price change. Even a small price increase can cause a big drop in demand. Example, packaged frozen vegetables. When prices rise even slightly, shoppers switch to fresh produce or skip them altogether. It's easy to substitute. That's what makes it elastic. And 2. Inelastic demand. This is the opposite. People don't really change what they buy, even when prices move a lot. For example, eggs in the United States. During the 2022 to 2023 bird flu outbreak, egg prices tripled, but demand barely changed. People still needed eggs for breakfast and baking. That's classic inelastic demand. And 3. Unitary elastic. This one's kind of in the middle when price and demand move in roughly the same proportion. Example, cinema tickets in many cities. If ticket prices go up a little, attendance might drop just enough to keep total revenue about the same. It's a balancing point between elastic and inelastic. These are the extreme ends. Perfectly elastic. If price rises even a cent, people completely stop buying. Example, stocks traded on a highly competitive exchange. If one trader sells for slightly more, buyers instantly switch to another. Perfectly inelastic. People buy the same amount, no matter what the price is. Example, life-saving medicine like insulin. Patients can't just buy less because of cost. And number 5. Other elasticities, cost and income. There are also other types that explain how products and income interact. Cross-price elasticity. When the price of one good affects the demand for another. For example, if coffee prices go up, many people switch to tea. Tea demand rises. Income elasticity. When your income changes, what happens to your demands? For example, when people earn more, they might eat out more often or upgrade to premium brands. Those are goods with positive income elasticity. But some things move the other way. When incomes rise, demand for instant noodle might fall. That's negative income elasticity. So that's the backbone of elasticity. From basic definitions to how different reactions shape our choices. But the fun part is just starting. Why do some price changes hit harder in certain sectors? If you are ready, let's jump into section 2 and look at real-world price movements, sector by sector. Now we are into section 2, elasticity by sector. Why some industries feel it more? Now that we get the idea of elasticity, let's zoom out and see how it plays out across entire sector, not just individual product. Because not all industries react the same way when prices move. Some can absorb shocks easily, but the others, they feel every ripple. Food and groceries, mostly inelastic. When it comes to food, people can't simply stop eating. Even if prices rise, they still buy, just maybe a little smarter or smaller. For example, during 2022, global grain prices jumped more than 30% due to the war in Ukraine. Yet grocery demand stays strong. People might switch premium brands to cheaper ones, but they don't quit buying food. That's why the food sector is largely inelastic. People adjust what they buy, not whether they buy. Energy and utilities, highly inelastic. Electricity, fuel, and natural gas, these are essential. When oil prices hit $120 a barrel in 2022, global demand dropped only 3%. Why? Because people still needed to drive, heat their homes, and keep the lights on. So while people complain about energy costs, usage doesn't follow. That's the definition of inelastic demand. No easy substitute, no way out. Luxury and tech goods. Elastic. Now flip the story. Luxury fashion, smartphones, high-end electronics. These are discretionary items. Nice to have, not must-haves. For example, when smartphone prices rose 15% between 2021 and 2023, global sales fell by nearly 10%. People delayed upgrades or bought mid-range models. That's elastic demand in action. When prices jump, people wait or switch. Automotive and transportation. Moderately elastic. Cars are interesting. They sit between necessity and luxury. During 2020's pandemic recovery, car prices surged due to chip shortages, but demand stayed surprisingly strong at first. By 2023, when inflation hit households, car sales slowed sharply, showing elasticity over time. So this sector's elasticity depends on the economic cycle. People can delay big purchases when money gets tight. Travel and hospitality. Highly elastic. Vacations, flights, hotels. They are often first to go when budgets tighten. After COVID, travel boomed again in 2023, but airline data showed price sensitivity was still high. A small rise in flight cost led to significant booking drops, especially for non-essential trips. Travel is the perfect example of elastic demand. When prices go up, people simply stay home. And the last one that will be mentioned, healthcare and pharmaceutical, perfectly inelastic. This one is simple. When your health at stake, price become secondary. Prescription drugs like insulin or heart medication remain steady in demand, even with steep price hikes. People might protest or struggle to pay, but they can't just not buy. That's why healthcare sector is one of the most inelastic sector in the world. So we have seen which sectors bend and which ones don't when prices shift. In the next part, we'll explore what actually determines elasticity, the factors behind these reactions. But before we move on, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how companies design their ads? They either make something look so irresistible that you stop thinking about price and just buy it. They either buy it or they make it seem like the more essential thing in the world, playing with your perception. Now, leaving out the true essentials, food, medicine, rent, I want you to think about your spending habits. When you buy something, do you ever stop and ask, do I really need this? Can I live without it? Share your thoughts in the comment and stick around for the next part. Section 3. Why understanding elasticity matters and what affects it. Before we jump into what causes elasticity, let's talk about why knowing it gives you a real edge. When you understand elasticity, you can spot when you are about to be hit by a price hike before it fully registers. You can decide, should I buy now or can I wait or switch? It's not just for economists, it's for all of us who want to protect our wallets. Okay, now that you are primed, let's look at the key factors that determine elasticity, and I'll give examples to make it real. Number 1. Availability of substitutes. If there are many alternatives for a product, demand tends to be more elastic. For example, if streaming service A rises prices, many people switch to service B or C instantly because they are substitutes. Consumers are sensitive. If you don't have alternatives, demand becomes less elastic. Number 2. Proportion of income spent. If a product takes up a big chunk of your budget, you will notice price changes more. So demand is more elastic. For example, buying a new car eats a large share of income, so when car prices jump, many delay purchase. In contrast, a small inexpensive purchase where budget share is tiny is less responsive. And number 3, necessity versus luxury. Time to adjust. If something is a necessity, you'll buy it despite price increases, making it inelastic. Luxuries give you the freedom to wait or skip. For example, utilities, electricity, water are necessities. Even if rates go up, usage hardly drops in short term. Over time you might adjust, but short-term behavior is inelastic. In contrast, a gadget, luxury, you can delay, so more elastic. Number 4. Brand loyalty. Market definition and time horizon. How committed are you to a brand? How narrowly defined is the market? And how much time do you have to adjust? For example, a luxury fashion brand might keep raising prices because loyal customers stick around, making demand less elastic for them. Over the long term through, even loyal buyers may switch. And last one, number 5. Other elasticities. Cross-price elasticity. When your income changes, how your demand cross-price elasticity. How the price of one good affects demand for another. For example, if the price of coffee suddenly rises, some consumers switch to tea. Demand for tea rises. Income elasticity. When your income changes, how your demand for goods changes. For example, When your income goes up, people tend to eat out more or buy premium brands. Positive income elasticity. But when income drops, they might switch to instant noodles. Negative income elasticity. So that's the backbone of elasticity, from why it matters to the main factors behind it. But the fun part is just starting. Price changes hit some sector way harder than others. If you are ready, let's jump into section 4 and see how elasticity play out in real-world sectors. Okay, we are into section 4. From the company's view, how firms think about elasticity. Now, let's flip the lens. Let's see it from the company's perspective. Because if you understand how firms think, you will know how you will be treated in pricing decisions. When a firm sees that demand is inelastic, it might feel confident raising prices because sales won't drop drastically. But when demand is elastic, rising prices too much might sabotage demand entirely. Here are key strategies and real-world examples. Raising prices on inelastic goods, the safe move. When demand is inelastic, firms often hike prices knowing customers won't flee. For example, gasoline. Oil companies often raise fuel prices when crude oil costs increase. Even though people complain, most still fill up because they need fuel for transport. Another example, essential medicines. If insulin's prices rise slightly, many patients must still purchase. Demand is inelastic. Shrinkflation as hidden price increase. Sometimes firms don't increase the sticker price. Increase, they reduce quantity or quality while keeping the same price. That serves as a stealth price hike. Many snack and chocolate companies have done this. A 200-gram chocolate bar becomes 170 gram. Price unchanged. That's shrinkflation. Consumers notice, but often less strongly. Companies get some extra margin without an obvious price jump. Tariff-driven price hikes in manufactured goods. When import costs or tariff spikes, firms may pass those costs to consumers, especially in sectors where competition is limited. Many major brands like Adidas, Walmart, Nike, camera makers like Nikon have announced raising prices, citing tariffs on import. These industries rely on imported parts or finished goods, so cost increases directly impact retail because some of these goods have relatively inelastic demand among core customers. Companies judge that price increases won't cause a mass exodus. Luxury brands and price power. Luxury good brands often enjoy more prices power due to brand strength and customer loyalty, making them less sensitive to elasticity. During and after COVID, luxury houses like Louis Vuitton, Chanel and Gucci raised prices globally. Consumers continued by treating them status symbols more than commodities. In some analyses, Gucci's demand was found to drop proportionally less than the price rise, so total revenue increased. Section 5. Special cases and curveballs. Alright, let's spice things up a bit. Elasticity isn't always textbook perfect. Sometimes prices do the unexpected. Let's zoom in. Giffen goods. Here's a weird one. In rare cases, higher prices actually increase demand. Sound crazy, right? This usually happens with staple goods among lower income households, like rice or potatoes in certain historical families. When the price goes up, people can't afford pricier alternatives, so they end up buying more of the staple. Strange but real. And Veblen goods. Now flip the coin. Some items more desirable because they are expensive. Think designer handbags, luxury watches, or high-end sports car. Price hike can actually boost demand. It's all about status and showing off. And local competition and elasticity. Finally, context matters. Gasoline is generally inelastic. You need it. Price up or down, you buy it. But locally, if three stations are side by side and one raises prices slightly, guess what? People drive a few extra blocks to the cheaper pump. Elasticity in action, even for staples. So yeah, not all price behavior follows the simple rules. And that's what keeps the market interesting, right? Now, we are going to the final part. Let's go. Finally, final thought. Prices from at the point where supply meet demands. Firms control the supply and you, the public, create the demand. That means about 50% of the price is in your hands. Now you understand elasticity and how to react to it. Imagine if most people acted with this awareness. You would realize just how powerful you are. That's why being informed is so important. Not just your own awareness, but society's overall consciousness matters. Start changing the world with yourself first. Share this video with your friends to help them become aware too. Remember, the greatest power in the world is you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Take care of yourself. Spend smart. Bye.